Ladies and gentlemen, we are now currently living in the 21st century. A century and a modern age where the limits of our own technologies are the ones that we haven't created ourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, everything in this world now can be reached only by, for example, the touch of a screen, including one of the most important aspects of our life right now, which is health, or you can say the world of health and medicine. But ladies and gentlemen, with the more increasing improvements and technological discoveries in the world of medicine, what has happened, ladies and gentlemen, is that there's a drawback through for this whole scheme. The gigantic drawback with this gigantic leap in medicine and in health is that there are still millions of people around the world which, first of all, do not have access, and second of all, ladies and gentlemen, do not understand the benefits that it gives to them, ladies and gentlemen. For example, there are still hundreds and thousands of people living in the USA, one of the toppest and the most wealthiest countries in the world, that still do not support vaccine, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine living in the 21st century, but we still have people out there who still believe that vaccines can actually cause cancer, ladies and gentlemen. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we believe that this is one very lethal thing that can actually harm not only the people who do not support vaccines in the first place, ladies and gentlemen, but also people who are influenced by them, ladies and gentlemen. For example, in this motion, which is this House believes that important medical decisions of children should be made by doctors and instead of parents, is an clear example why in the world, in my context of anti-vaxxers, this motion can be implemented correctly, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the problem is that, as we all know, with the limitation of socialization and educational purposes about these medicational decisions, what is happening is that parents or people who do not have enough understanding on what these medications are will not be buyed or will not be swayed to actually use this, while in the first place, ladies and gentlemen, these medications or these health prescriptions can be very, very important and vital and can actually make be a very big difference for a child's life, ladies and gentlemen. For example, when a child is born, as we all know, they need to be given vaccines and a lot of injections so that their immune systems can slowly but steadily grow and to become stronger. Now, ladies and gentlemen, moving on to our goal of this debate is that, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, we want to prove on how by giving doctors the right to actually have the decision to actually have the right to give medical decisions instead of parents, is because it will be much more beneficial and much more safer for the children itself, ladies and gentlemen. And we want to prove how by actually giving these rights to the doctors, they can actually make the parents who are previously not interested or very uneducated, so that they will not be swayed to actually use these medications, but eventually learn the benefits and eventually will be able to be swayed to use it. Okay, moving on. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, to my first point of argument is the point of justification. Why it will be justified for these doctors to given the right to actually make this medical decision instead of parents. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, even though I agree that in the first place a child is unofficially belonged to the parent in the first place, ladies and gentlemen, because first of all, the parents are the biological owners of these children, and that means that in all form of natural law, the parent itself has the right to take care and to guide the child in life in the first place, ladies and gentlemen. But in all matters of law and aspects of our life, ladies and gentlemen, when children's life is endangered, not necessarily a children, when someone's life is endangered, or when when one's actions can actually endanger another person's life, then it is also the responsibility and it is also the right of another person or maybe an authorized official to actually step in and make sure that no one gets harmed in the process. Ladies and gentlemen, I see this motion as a perfect example of my first point of argument, ladies and gentlemen. The important decisions of in the medical world can actually mean life and death for our children in the first place. For example, if we are sick, but then the medical subscriptions given by the doctor is not being neglected by the parent, and the parent chooses to take some other form of medication for the children because he or she or because the parents believes that because medical subscriptions might actually make the sickness worse or anyhow. Now we believe that in this situation itself, the very life of the child itself can be harmed and can be threatened in the way that if the disease is not, or if the sickness is not controlled in some way, that he might actually have a fatal ending in the end, ladies and gentlemen. Now we believe that yes, even though the doctors and the child have no biological connection at all time, we believe that in the case of making these medical decisions, we believe that because the doctor, first of all, is much more authorized, second of all, they have a far longer range of education, and third of all, ladies and gentlemen, is that it might be actually interfering the possible danger of threatening the child's life in the first place, ladies and gentlemen. We believe that in all, because of these three main factors, the doctors itself will have the outrageous right to actually take part in making these medical decisions in the first place, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, now moving on to my second point of argument, ladies and gentlemen, is that why is this very urgent, in the matter of fact that the doctors will be able to have the right to actually take these medical decisions in the first place, ladies and gentlemen. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be talking about how, when we are talking about life and how we are talking about a life risky situation, ladies and gentlemen, there is no second thoughts on what to do. If an action is supposed to be supposedly make the person can be much more healthier, or even can actually save their life, ladies and gentlemen, we can actually I actually propose, or I actually would prefer that the doctor itself, or an authorized official, which is in this case is a doctor, can actually take charge of the whole situation, rather than an uneducated parent who does not know a lot in this medical field, ladies and gentlemen. And the matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, is that we are talking about the child's life. If the parent itself decided to choose another method, for example, a traditional healing method, ladies and gentlemen, we believe that this itself might be very risky for the life and for the current situation of the child itself, ladies and gentlemen. For example, if the natural medication will not go in line with the children's natural immune system, or maybe that the natural medication prescription is not actually authorized to actually be used, we can see that how this will be very dangerous and can actually risk the children's life much more than if the doctor actually took charge of the whole situation in the first place, ladies and gentlemen. And that is why I also believe that in this case it's very urgent to actually propose in the first place, ladies and gentlemen. The last factor, ladies and gentlemen, is that in this world of, in our 21st century world, ladies and gentlemen, is that there is still a lot of communities and families out there who do not understand why and why medications are very important, ladies and gentlemen. Now we believe that this is a clear example of uneven education and uneven socialization from the government in the society, ladies and gentlemen. But it shows that with this big of a drawback and with this big of a impact of how we run things, is that we are not able to take a risk of actually giving them the choice to give medical decisions for the child itself, ladies and gentlemen, because I've previously said multiple times in my speech, ladies and gentlemen, this is a matter of life and death, and that is why I rest my case. Thank you.